Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good day. Welcome to the Vuka Nazo Show. My name is Sihle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. Remember, whether you're watching this simulcast on Facebook or YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. If it is on YouTube, then we'll subscribe to the show and hit that bell notification. Help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Guys, remember, we have a website. Find us, and you can also support us financially there by going to BigDaddyLiberty.com. Now, with that being said, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get straight into the news. All right, I did promise in the week that we'll keep an eye on this Hammanskraal Cholera Outbreak. I asked you the question, of course, in a previous episode of Vuka Nazo, that is your drinking water safe? The water you give to your children, give to your family. Is our drinking water in South Africa safe? The source of the outbreak is being searched for quite vigorously at the moment by the Tshwane municipality, but maybe they need to look at those facilities which are meant to treat water, and money was spent in order to upgrade them and fix them, but those monies allegedly disappeared. You remember, of course, all the way back in 2019, the city of Tshwane, or Pretoria, had set aside 2 billion rand for the effective upgrade of water infrastructure and plants in this area. After, of course, the community of Hammanskraal and surrounding had been experiencing water issues since all the way back in 2013, and even before then, making this problem definitely an ANC and a DA one. So as these politicians bicker with each other and trying to finger point at each other, I always remind them that hashtag politicians are trash and that all of them shoulder some responsibility on this matter. But nonetheless, let me come back to this issue. 2 billion rand was set aside back in 2019 for the upgrading and repairing of water infrastructure and water treatment plants in the various areas. One of those was the Rooiwal facility, which of course the tender, as per Action SA's report, indicates that it was dubious, it was dodgy, it was corrupt in its nature. This is the tender that went to a one Edwin Sodi, named now and fingered for all the wrong reasons on this particular matter. Let me jog your memory. I'm going to read from The Citizen, which reminded us about this particular report. And while Edwin Sodi right now is even facing a more serious investigation from the Special Investigations Unit. More on that in a second. This, of course, related to that 295 million rand awarding to him and his companies allegedly in a corrupt way. The following findings are contained in this forensic report. Firstly, that the tender amounting to 295 million rand was awarded to companies belonging to Edwin Sodi for the upgrade of the Rooiwal waste treatment plant. Neither of the companies in the joint venture had any experience of this kind in the project. The joint venture did not have the required funds for the site established. The city of Tshwane thus paying R1 million upfront to float the costs for the site establishment. The joint venture, in contravention of the supply chain policies of the city of Tshwane, had to cede 71 million rand upfront because it lacked the resources for the initial capital outlay. And lastly, of course, when the adjudication committee cancelled the tender award, the city of Tshwane inextricably did not defend its decision in the legal proceedings brought by the joint venture. Very odd set of circumstances there, end of quote. Again, this is that tender that now is the subject of many a question, because Rooiwal, if it had been fixed, perhaps Hammanskraal would not be experiencing this cholera outbreak right now, which has claimed 17 human lives. And this, of course, is where Edwin Sodi is being fingered in this matter, with allegations flying around this, and which are now subject, after this report, of course, was forwarded to the Special Investigating Unit by Action SA. Of course, the SIU now coming out and saying, well, it's taken a while for it to conduct its preliminary investigation after it received this report. However, it's now looking to actually finalize a proclamation. That's how it investigates something or someone, to be sent to the president for him to basically endorse the investigation against Edwin Sodi. And here's the thing. Hey man, y'all know I've been saying this for a while. The SIU does not miss. When it investigates you, you should know that you'll be in deep deep trouble if you are a criminal individual. But nonetheless, don't take it from me. This is what the spokesperson for the SIU, speaking to Newsroom Africa, had to say about the potential investigation that is looked to be launched against Edwin.
At the moment, the answer is no. But what we can say is we received information and also a reportage around the Rooiwal contract from Action SA, and we took the documentation that they gave to us. For the past few months, we were looking at getting more information from Tshwane and all the other relevant people that are needed. Unfortunately, we all know what happened at Tshwane. 1 minute there is this somebody is in charge, the next week is out and all of that, and that delayed our preliminary investigation. But what I can say to the public of South Africa is we are now done with the preliminary investigation. We have now found that there is something that we can investigate. We are now in the process of drafting a proclamation that we will send to the president via the Department of Justice to make sure that we get the proclamation and start the investigation.
Now, it must be said, this particular character, Edwin Sodi, is no stranger to controversy. It's not the first rodeo of fraud and corruption allegations against him. You'll remember, of course, back in 2020, Sodi was fingered as being part of the corruption involving a multi-million rand asbestos tender in the Free State. And that matter, of course, is being heard in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, where he's facing charges of corruption, money laundering, and of course theft in that particular court, with the state, of course, alleging that Sodi was the mastermind via two of his particular companies, with the mastermind, of course, in the swindling and the corruption of the state to the amount of about 225 million rand. Of course, after, of course, an audit was done into that particular asbestos project. And here's the shocking part. Before work even began on that particular project, they were paid 51 million rand up front, almost in an odd way. Again, these are all allegations that he's currently facing before the courts of law. As I mentioned, he's no stranger to legal problems. The asset forfeiture unit of the National Prosecuting Authority had swooped in 2020, seizing cars and other luxury items from Sodi based on the corruption and fraud allegations against him. Let me just quickly read from that citizen piece again, which said the following. Now, the MPA seized 29 vehicles, 27 properties, 19 active accounts and household goods belonging to the tenderpreneur. Uzondo Commission, of course, also concluded in April 22 that Sodi made various payments through his bank account to obtain, quote, access, secure influence, and retain connections with a number of individuals at provincial and national government, end of quote. Yep, this is a chap who indeed is facing a lot of corruption, fraud, money laundering, and indeed tenderpreneur, almost rent-seeking allegations against him. And the question is, insofar as this Rooiwal water treatment facility corruption scandal, will we get to the bottom of where this over 290 million rand has disappeared to, and will those involved in this, including allegedly Sodi, face justice? All right, that's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo. Please, hey, let me know what you think about this particular matter. Leave a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. The most important thing you can do is to, yes, hit that like button, but more importantly, share the stream. Please share it widely. With that being said, if you're looking to support the work that we're doing here, and it's the advocacy work in particular, then please consider contributing to the show. How do you do that? Find a payment method that suits you at our website. That's at bigdaddyliberty.com. Now, if you like any of the stories that we covered here, the links are in the descriptor. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next episode of the Vuka Nazo Show.